Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll use Studio X to download all of the email attachments received from the ACME or ACME platform. We start by creating a new automation project. We'll name this one First Automation using Microsoft Office. An important part of being a developer is documenting the work. For that reason, we'll type in a short description of the automation. First Automation project using Microsoft Office, checking customer discounts. Once done, we'll click on the Create button. Let's start with a refresher of the interface. On the left side, we have the Activities panel. We use them to build the automation project. In the center, we have the Designer panel. Here, we add the activities to build the automation. On the right side, we have Properties. We'll set up the main activity properties in the Designer. For the extra configuration, we'll access this panel. The Object Repository tab holds all of the UI elements of an application. The Data Manager panel keeps tab on all of the resources we use and all of the values that we save. The Resources panel allows us to connect to Orchestrator assets. On the bottom side of the screen, we have the Error List and Output panels. We use these for troubleshooting. And on the upper side of the screen, we have the Design ribbon. We'll interact with a few of the tools in this lesson. The theme of this demo is Email Automation. All of the email automation activities are found under Mail. To start, we need to connect to our Microsoft Outlook account. We do this with the Use Desktop Outlook app resource or the Use Outlook 365 resource. To add an activity, we can either drag and drop it from the Activities panel or search for it by clicking on the plus button. Now to add the Outlook account. We can either use the default account connected to Outlook or select a shared mailbox associated with the default address. The reference field helps us identify the inbox further down the workflow. It's especially useful when we're working with multiple email addresses in a single automation. In this exercise, we'll reference it as My Inbox. We're all set with connecting to the email address. Now, let's see how we can download all of the attachments from the emails received. As we have multiple emails, we'll go through each of the emails received from the noreply@uipath.com address. This is called an iteration. In Studio X, iterations are performed with the for each actions. We can iterate through emails, files, Excel rows, or sheets. To understand how the for each actions work, imagine that you're at the supermarket self-checkout. All of the items you want to buy are waiting in the basket. For each item, the same set of actions is performed. The first item is taken out of the basket, scanned, the value is added to the total, and then bagged. Onto the next item. Taken out of the basket, scanned, the value is added to the total, and then bagged. Once all of the items go through the same process, the iteration ends, and we can select the payment method, pay, and then leave the store. These actions are performed outside of the iteration. With that image in mind, let's return to Studio X and add the for each email action. Current mail is how we reference the email further in the workflow. In Emails From, we select the location of the emails that we want to process. Thanks to the deep integration of Studio X with Office products, we can see the folder structure. In our case, the emails are in the First Automation folder, but if you move them into another location, select your folder. We can further configure the activity to limit the iteration to specific emails. Visible on the card, we have common filters, but we do have additional options. We'll filter based on the sender, so we select From and Equals, because we want the sender to match no-reply@uipath.com. We'll also process emails received today. Great! Now we can move to the last step, downloading the attachments. To achieve this goal, we use the Save Email Attachment action, which we place inside the For Each activity. The email we select is the current email that is inside the iteration. We can add further filters based on the type of attachment. all of our attachments are .xlsx files, so we can leave this property empty. In the Save to Folder property, we select the folder in which we want to download the attachment. For this demo's purpose, we'll create a new folder. We can quickly access the Projects folder by going to Project and Open Project Folder. Here, we create a new folder named Invoices. Back to the Save Email Attachments action, we click on the folder icon, and we look for the newly created folder. Ah, there it is. One last property to check or uncheck: Overwrite. As we'll probably run the workflow multiple times, we'll check this box. Otherwise, we'd have to manually empty the folder, or we'll get an error message. Alright, now take a moment and pause the video to sync up if you've missed something in the process. Fantastic! We've finished setting up the email attachment download part of the task. Let's see if it works. We go to the Design ribbon and click on Run. The execution has finished, so let's check the Invoices folder. We can see that the 4 invoices have been downloaded, which can only mean one thing: the execution was successful. Before we move on to the next demo on how to edit the Excel files and how to enter data into another application, let's make a short recap. We used the Use Outlook desktop app resource to access our inbox. We used the For Each Email action to go through all of the emails that met 2 conditions simultaneously. First, that they had to be received today. And secondly, that they had been sent from the noreply@uipath.com address. Here's a tip. If we want the emails to meet all of the criteria that we set, we use the AND logic. If we want the emails to meet at least one criterion, then we use the OR logic. Because we wanted both conditions to be met at any time by the emails that enter the iteration, we selected the All AND option. Each email that met the 2 conditions entered the iteration and was processed by downloading the attachments into the Invoice folder. And this concludes our demo on how to download email attachments using Studio X. See you soon.